eSIM Studios YouTube and mobile app. The eSIM Studios YouTube channel offers the very best technology news and reviews with in-depth coverage found nowhere else. Hosted by founder and creator, Taylor Bell. He's a really good dude, college educated, and worked inside the industry. He knows what he is talking about. The eSIM Studios mobile app is an experience unlike any other tech app, with an easy-to-use interface view, late-breaking tech news from all over the industry, and so much more. The eSIMstudios.app also includes the unlocker. Learn to unlock phones from the professionals for free. The clean and intuitive layout, finding breaking news articles and deals in tech has never been easier. Watch and listen to the eSIM Studios YouTube channel and podcast from within the app. Additional features include easy Gcam download and installation, the Android Flash tool, and sign up for our weekly giveaway drawing. Download the eSIM Studios mobile app at eSIMstudios.app and find us on YouTube by simply searching.
All right, welcome back. eSIM Studios Podcast Livestream, episode number 173. Today on a Thursday afternoon, August the 8th, 2024. Appreciate everybody for joining in. Very busy day today, but I came across some information, some new information, some more details on the upcoming iPhone. No, not the iPhone 16 that's going to be out next month. I'm talking about the iPhone 17. Not only just the 17, the iPhone 17 Air. It's correct. We do have a new name. It was previously thought of, or I guess labeled iPhone 17 Slim, iPhone 17 Thin. But no, we got news that it will be called the Air, iPhone 17 Air. So they're going to take the same Air name that they've tagged on iPads, right? You got the iPad Air, MacBook Air. Well, guess what? You're going to have the iPhone 17 Air. So we got new details on that. Sorry. It is going to be a game changer for Apple. It's going to, people's heads are going to explode when they come across this device. Well, let me take a step back. So this is going to be, so the Air is going to be a super thin device along the lines of like 4 millimeters thick. Which right now, to put it in perspective, the average, I think the iPhone now is like 8 millimeters thick, something like that. So it's essentially going to be half as thick as a typical iPhone. It's going to replace the iPhone 17 Plus, so no more Plus model. They're going to kick out the Plus and insert the Air. They have a new way of manufacturing. So how they're going to get it so slim, so incredibly thin, is they have a new and we're going to get into the details here. I'll show you in a second, but just to let you know some behind the scenes how they're able to get it so razor thin. I mean, I'm talking half the thickness of this. Nothing Phone 2, it's roughly 8 millimeters thick, right? So you're looking at the thickness, 8 millimeters thick. So 4 millimeters would be half of this. So if you look where the USB Type-C plug-in is, and you essentially split the phone in half this way, it would be either the top half or the bottom half of that USB Type-C plug-in. We're talking just incredibly thin. So how they're able to do that is they have a new manufacturing process of manufacturing the motherboard, the PCB. So what they're going to do is Apple has started a new manufacturing process. So inside the device, you know how you'll have the motherboard, and then you'll have then they'll solder the CPU on top. They'll solder the RAM, the storage, stuff like that goes on top of them, on top of the motherboard that's soldered down. Now, what Apple's doing, they are building the motherboard with the CPU, with the RAM chip, with the storage, all built inside that board. So it's not stacked on top of each other. Now they are essentially all one piece, which is awesome. You don't hear me give Apple too much credit, but that is freaking awesome. I know they patented this new way of manufacturing process. I don't know, eventually, I'm sure Samsung in the future even may trickle down to Apple. Who knows? Maybe Motorola, Nokia down the line will eventually get to the same manufacturing process. But I know Apple has patented this new PCB board, this new manufacturing process. That's how they're able to shave off even a few more millimeters of thickness, right, to get it down to that 4 millimeters. Now, this is going to be a drastic change in the design language for Apple. We do have some mock-ups here, and we will get into that here shortly. Let me show everybody what more information we have, right? So let me share the screen here. All right. So here we have, let's pull this up this way. Pardon me while I maneuver my windows here. So we might get into the reasons to wait, but let's go into the 17 Air, which we are talking about at the moment. So you see a drastic change, right? So you see now this isn't entirely true, the mock-up. Now obviously we don't know what it looks like, but this is a mock-up, right? That's what it is, just to kind of give you an idea. So look, just to give you an idea of how thin this is. It's essentially the thickness of a power button or a volume button. Look, that volume button and the power buttons take up the whole side of the phone. It's that thin. Different design language from the typical iPhone. So the typical iPhone, you have the cameras. Excuse me, you have the cameras. I mean, everybody knows what an iPhone looks like. This one's going to have different design. This one's going to have cameras essentially at the top of the back of the phone, and they're going to be centered. So you're going to get new camera setup, top back of the phone, centered right in the middle. And let's get into what we know so far. So this ultra thin iPhone 17 Air is going to feature an A19 bionic chip from Apple, right? Single rear camera. This one says single. I've heard double. And this one says single. So obviously it's too early to know for sure, but I think what we kind of know is that it's not going to have a triple camera setup. And why is that? Well, that's because there's so many components. The third, I believe it's the periscope camera, is very thick. It's very deep. It sits deep inside the phone. It has multiple layers inside that sensor. It's too thick to put in the phone. Remember, this is supposed to be razor thin. So they're only going to put in cameras that are very shallow, that where they can essentially put the phone as thin as possible, right? Having that periscope camera is just too thick of a sensor, so they're going to exclude that. I don't believe it's going to encompass one camera. I personally believe it'll have two. However, what we're getting the news right now is that it's going to have one, but again, I think we'll see that too. It's going to have a semi-titanium frame, so you're going to have a blend of different materials with titanium in there, because it's going to be so thin, you're going to have to worry about bending it and breaking it. Just to pass the jerry rig everything test, you're going to have to put some kind of foundation, some kind of support, some kind of rigidness in there. I think it was the iPhone 6 that they had the bend gate where there were a whole bunch of people, their iPhones would come up bent, right? Stick them in your back pocket, go to sit down in your car, and you bend your iPhone. Well, having a blended mid-frame, a blended foundation of that frame being titanium and or metal, very good choice. It's a very strong metal, right? So it's going to be a revolutionary ultra slim flagship smartphone. This is going to blow people's minds. I cannot wait to get my hands on one, and I don't think I've ever said that about an iPhone. So this is going to launch late 2025. So this time next year. I know I'm talking about the 17, not talking about the 16, which is going to come out this September. I'm talking about this time next year, right? Apple's going to start introducing some changes in their phones. Thank God, it's about time. You're going to see new designs, a new design language, and we'll maybe get into it here shortly, but you're going to see under display cameras, front selfie sensors. The dynamic island is going away. They're going to put under the display cameras. And now it might still have it will have a selfie. It will have a hole punch similar to what you see on Samsung, similar to what you see on Nothing and OnePlus devices for a year. I think that starts next year or the year after. And then the year after the hole punch, they're going with all under display sensors. It'll feature a remarkably slim design, surpassing the iPhone 6, which was pretty freaking thin, and as I mentioned, brought to us the bend gate saga, because it was all aluminum, right? That was an aluminum frame, as you know. Aluminum's an easy metal to bend. This is aluminum. I'm bending it. Obviously, it's thin, but the iPhone 6 was made of aluminum. This year, it's not this year, next year for the iPhone 17 Air, it's going to be constructed out of a titanium blend metal, so it's not going to be as easily bendable, and hopefully you won't see the bend gate in 2025 as you did back with the iPhone 6. Now, iPhone 17 Air is rumored to have a 6.55 or a 6.6 inch display. So it's going to be smaller than the iPhone 15 Pro Max right now, bigger than the iPhone 15 Pro, bigger than the iPhone 16 Pro. The iPhone 16 Pro, this year's Pro, I'm going to bump up to a 6.4 inch display, but it'll be smaller than the 6.9 inch iPhone 16 Pro Max. So it's going to sit right in between. It fits right in with that, where it's going to kick that Plus model out, and they're going to introduce this Air. I'm going to sit right in between size-wise. the iPhone 15 Plus and iPhone 16 Plus and iPhone 16 Pro Max. Similar stuff to what's going to happen with the iPhone 17 Pro and iPhone 17 Pro Max, right? It's going to sit right in between those two sizes. It's going to have it's going to be the first non-Pro iPhone with a 120 Hz Pro motion display and an always-on display. So again, this is not going to carry the Pro moniker or Pro tagging. However, it will have 120 Hz refresh rate, Pro motion display, and always-on display. Additional features include improved facial ID system, narrow dynamic island cutout. So it's going to be a smaller cutout, and they're going to start phasing out the dynamic island. It's going to have, check, this is going to be cool. It's going to have S23 Ultra like anti-reflective display. And I believe that's going to be the first. Now, I think they have this on the iPad right now. I think the latest iPad with the M4 chip, I think you can get that, I forget what they call it, like nano coating, something like that. But essentially, this will be the first phone that they produce with the anti-reflective display, just like the S24 Ultra. It's going to, as I mentioned, be powered by the A19 Bionic chip and with an advanced and enhanced neural processing unit NPU and a custom 5G modem. Now, another cool feature, new battery chemistry, new battery technology. So one of the major factors making a smartphone and making a smartphone thick is the battery, right? So when you make, as I mentioned, their new motherboard is going to have all the components baked into the motherboard. So again, it's not going to be stacked on top of each other. They're going to thin it out. And another factor, as we mentioned, the camera too. No periscope camera, because a periscope, very thick camera, multiple layers. They're going to kick that out. But the battery, right? A battery is another component, another part of the device that adds thickness to a phone. Apple has come up with a solution to that for this new upcoming iPhone 17 Air. It's going to use new battery chemistry. There's not much on it right now. However, I've been tracking some details, and I think they're going to use, I don't know if they're going to, so there's a new, OnePlus is coming out with a new battery chemistry. It's actually thinner, lighter materials as far as what the battery is made up of inside. Thinner, lighter, and can actually hold more power than a traditional battery that's in your, I don't know, Nothing Phone 2. So we don't know on the specifics of this new battery, but we do know they are working on new battery technology. So it's going to, I'm assuming it's going to be something like the new OnePlus battery. It's going to be thinner, and it's probably going to be bigger just to more surface area so they can thin out the battery. Because right now, they're essentially like this. iPhone batteries are long and tall. Android batteries are usually more in the shape of a square like Samsung uses. Obviously, the Z Flip 6 has two batteries, or one in each section, but they are square-like. iPhone batteries are known, if you've ever taken an iPhone apart, they're long and tall. So with this one, they're going to thin it out, make it more square-like and or rectangle-like, and make it spread out over the back so they can thin it out as well. But you're going to see that new technology. And again, I do apologize. I don't have the specifics with me. Just shame on me. I should have that, but I'll bring it to you out at a later time. But just know it's going to have new battery technology, right? Very, very cool stuff. Let me see if I can pull up a picture. Let's see here. Let's do this. I got some other mock-ups here for y'all. Damn it. Won't let me share my screen, will it? There we go. So check this out. So here we have iPhone 17 Air on top and the traditional iPhone 15 Pro Max on the bottom. Not sure if you can tell, get a good look at it on your screen, but it is going to be significantly thinner. And I don't think these photos give it too much justice, but I think if you actually hold it in your hand, you're going to be blown away. You're going to be blown away. This is cutting edge technology at its finest. I'm glad Apple is going to introduce these types of products. I'm not a big fan of Apple, but I've always been a fan of their design language as far as what their devices look like. It's just when I start using them is when I start to hate using that device. But they always look nice, so I've been a big fan of these. Let's see. I don't know if I have any more. Here's another one. This encompasses 3. You see the smaller dynamic island, as I mentioned earlier, which this 17 Air will have a smaller dynamic island. This one has 3 cameras, but again, remember, I believe it's going to have 2. I believe it's going to have 2 cameras on there. Unless they put 3 and just none of them is a periscope, right? Now, this one was put out. I saw this online. I don't think it's going to look like this. This looks basically like the iPhone SE4 that's supposed to come out. And then there you have your iPhone lineup. So, let's see here. So, are you interested? Are you potentially thinking about getting a new iPhone 16 series? Nothing much has changed. It's going to look roughly the same. Again, 17s when you start when the real big changes start. So this year, if you're not familiar, I'm going to look basically the same. iPhone 16 series compared to the iPhone 15 series. The only major changes is the iPhone 16 Pro Max is going to be a 6.9 inch display over the iPhone 15 Pro Max, which is a 6.8 inch display, and the iPhone 16 Pro is going to be a 6.4 inch display over the iPhone 15 Pro, which is, I think, a 6.1 inch display. Now you'll get some new cameras. I'm sure you'll get some new hardware inside the device, right? But if you're interested, here's what you can look forward to with the iPhone 17. So I know it's been a topic with people potentially skipping the Pixel 9 and waiting for the Pixel 10. Pixel 9 coming out here in essentially days, just a few days here on the 13th. Some people online, I've been seeing a lot of people saying they're going to skip this series. We will be getting one just because we are Pixel lovers here, and we are hashtag Team Pixel. We are members of the Pixel Superfan group, so we're going to get one, right? We love Pixel, but I understand some people that are casual fans. I can understand their reasoning for potentially skipping this series and waiting for next year. Pixel 10 is where it's going to is. Pixel 10 is the make or break year for Google. I've said it. I know you're probably tired of hearing me say it. And I'll get back to iPhone, but it's similar comparisons, right? Pixel 10 make or break year. That's when they kick Samsung to the curb and go all Google Tensor CPU, built from the ground up, TSMC built on their second gen manufacturing process. So the Pixel 10 CPU should be a game changer. The Pixel 10 should be a game changer. That's when it's a make or break. They either do really good in sales and start to take off, or they struggle in sales. And I believe if they do struggle in sales for the Pixel 10 series, it's going to be a struggle every year here on out, basically. I don't think the Pixel 9 is going to sell that well. I could be wrong. I think it's going to be a great device. I don't think there's going to be anything wrong with them. Could be wrong. The Pixel 6 was introduced us to a whole bunch of bugs, unfortunately. But I think this will be a great device. But it goes to show you that, I see why, I see how, I get the understanding if people are just going to skip this 9 and just wait for the 10. A similar thing with Apple. Not much has changed. And now look, with Pixel, it is a fairly significant change. You get a new CPU. It's like 10% better. Not going to be much of a jump. Again, Pixel 10 is where the big jump's going to be in the powertrain, in the CPU specs. But with the Pixel, at least you get a completely new design. With the iPhone 16 series, they look the same. Pixel going to look not completely different, but pretty different. Excuse me. But I do understand if people want to wait. It's all good. But with the iPhone, if you're considering sticking with your iPhone, skipping this year, upgrading to the 16, well, here's what you can look forward to in the iPhone 17 department. You're going to get iPhone 17 across the board. Under display Face ID. So I've been told they are moving into under display sensors. I just don't know how they're going to do it, or I don't know for sure. I think what they're going to do is put the Pro and the Pro Max with a under display sensor. And I think with the regular version and the iPhone Air, 17 Air, they might do a hole punch, or they might do a very, very, very small dynamic island. They're phasing the dynamic island out. So here in a few years, there will be no dynamic island. Everything's going to be under display eventually. But I think iPhone 17 is probably when they introduce the under display front selfie cameras. Not only that, on the Pro and Pro Max, not only that, you're going to get larger displays, you're going to get always on displays, and more, right? So they're expected to drop late September 2025, essentially 13 months from now. Now, you're going to get several exciting features. iPhone 17 Pro models are going to feature under-display Face ID, eliminating the notch and the dynamic island, achieving a true all-screen appearance. So all of them, the full lineup, every iPhone released by 2027 will have under-display selfie cameras. Now, that's not... companies have been... Apple's not going to be the first company to introduce this to the market. People like Xiaomi have a few devices that have under-display sensors, camera sensors. The Z Fold 6, and I think even going back to the Fold 5 have under-display selfie cameras. So it's been used. The only issue with that is that companies have had problems with getting a crystal clear, 100% crystal clear photo when it's under the display. Because remember, it has to see through that AMOLED, those OLED, it has to see through the screen, right? The LEDs on the screen. So companies have gotten pretty close to getting a 100% clear photo when you take a selfie of yourself. And I think Apple has finally... I think they're right on the cusp of getting a 100% clear. What I've heard Apple doing is actually turning those off when you take a picture with the front-facing sensor. Apparently, wherever that cutout is on that display, wherever the sensor is under that display, they're going to essentially turn those LEDs off, make it a see-through, because now at CES they had see-through LED monitors. Well, that's the same technology that's going to be put in place. I don't think the whole screen, but at least in place where the front selfie cutout is. You have a see-through LED that'll not illuminate those when you take a picture, so that selfie camera under the display will be able to take a picture of whoever's controlling it, right? So you're going to see display sizes are expected to increase again. With the standard iPhone 17 gaining the larger 6.27-inch display. ProMotion, so you won't have any more 6-inch or 6.1. The base models, the smallest sizes you're going to get is a 6.27 on the 17. ProMotion with a 120 Hz refresh rate and always-on display capabilities may also come on the standard models. It's about time. Even there's CMF Phone 1. It's $200. Has a 120 Hz refresh rate display. Come on, Apple. But you'll see that they'll start introducing that on all models, I believe, by this time next year on the iPhone 17 series. iPhone 17 Pro models could be equipped with an Apple-designed Wi-Fi 7 chip for faster speeds, lower latency, and reduced reliance on external suppliers. The iPhone 17 Pro Max may feature an upgraded 48-megapixel telephoto lens optimized for use with Apple Vision Pro headset, completing a rear camera system with another 48-megapixel sensor. Now, iPhone 17 models are rumored to receive a 24-megapixel front-facing camera with 6-element lenses for improved image quality and detail, an anti-reflective display with enhanced scratch resistance is also expected across the iPhone 17 lineup. So, just like the anti-reflective display here on the S23 Ultra, you're going to get that on Apple devices now, starting with the iPhone 17. We also talked about that 24-megapixel sensor. What was it? A couple weeks ago, I believe. We went and dug into to the details of that sensor a couple weeks ago. The iPhone 17 Pro models may get a boost. A much needed boost, may I add. Now, I think this is going to be on the Pro models. You know how Apple likes to split stuff up. I believe the Pro and Pro Max are going to come with 12 gigs of RAM with improved multitasking, right? Specifically for AI capabilities. The Pro Max, 17 Pro Max, could have a narrower dynamic island due to a smaller meta lens used for Face ID. Additionally, Apple might introduce a new iPhone 17 Air model with a thinner design, a single rear camera. I think it's going to be 2. And it shall improve the camera, right? It will definitely improve the camera. So, very interesting. Definitely cannot wait for these to come out. And it seems like we get more and more information as time gets closer. I know we still have one launch to go, and then we can, I'm sure, this time next year we'll obviously know everything, because this time next year it will be 1 month away from these. And 1 month away from the iPhone 17 Air. It seems like as of lately, we've been getting more and more leaks, though. Apple traditionally does not leak that much stuff. But look, what if they had news to leak about? They don't change hardly anything in the last 6 years. So it's kind of boring. Really not much to leak, right? Here's the specs. You know, little subtle changes here and there. But this, huge news. And I can promise you, I'm going to stay on top of this, and we'll bring everybody all the details, Now, I'm not going to bring you just leaks that are coming from here and there. I try to cross-reference these. I try to get a second source, a third source to confirm this stuff. So, look, I'm sure we're pretty good on leaks that we bring forward and bring to you guys. Am I wrong on a couple things? Sure, but for the most part, we've nailed a lot of stuff. I was a lot more times than we have not. So, should get the 2 cameras in the back, and then as time goes on, we'll see how they maneuver the dynamic island and the under display front selfie sensor, which will be really cool. Now, before we get out of here, Samsung, you have an update. If you have an S24, S24 Plus, S24 Ultra, or if you have an S23, S23 Plus, and S23 Ultra, the August security patch is out. I've updated mine, and they seem to be good to go. Now, the flips, the foldables, if you have a Flip 6 or a Fold 6, I don't believe the August update is out right now. Let me double check on mine real quick. I just updated my 24 Plus and 24 Ultra a couple hours ago. No, it's not out yet. But I'm sure they'll be putting it out here in the next day or two for the foldable, for the new foldables. But if you have an S24 series or an S23 series, they are available. So go please and check your devices for an update. What else do we have? Let's see. There was one other piece of news. Let me get my other phone here. Okay, I got it. So, OnePlus, congratulations. I would like to congratulate OnePlus for improving upon one thing that really bothered me about OnePlus devices. It absolutely puts a damper on my experience, as many others as well. It's one of the reasons why I stopped using Motorola phones, is their update process and update frequency, as far as how frequently they update their devices. So Samsung and Google, really good about updating their devices. Obviously, Google issues the Android security patch monthly. Samsung's on top of it. Sometimes Samsung will beat Google Pixel to the punch and update their devices before Google even updates their Pixels with the security patch. But OnePlus has been on a bi-monthly update process for as long as I can remember. They've essentially updated their phones every other month, which never made sense to me. I've heard the excuse that, well, their departments, their developer departments are just not as big as Samsung's or Google's. And so it takes them a little extra time to get these security patches implemented and coded just right with these kernels and these devices. Well, now it appears that is all in the past. So OnePlus put out a press release, a statement, saying they are now going to update their devices monthly. And I applaud that. Thank you very much, OnePlus. It's huge. And I know there's a lot of people like myself that feel the same way, right? Again, that's why I stopped using Motorola. Motorola is notorious for just not updating their devices. They're like a year behind. Literally, I'm not even joking. Some of these devices a year behind, which is outrageous, because security, your information on these devices have to be secure. It is unexcusable for a manufacturer to not update their devices once a month. And I'm not even talking a month behind. Even if they update them monthly, some of these manufacturers will update their devices monthly, but they're a month behind. So like, we're in August, right? So let's say if I was using a random phone, I would get an update today, but it would be for the July security patch, not the August security patch. And then next month, instead of getting the September security patch, I would get the August security patch. That's not acceptable. We're too far advanced. We're too into technology to where these companies are shorting you on updates. It's inexcusable. There is no excuse. I don't care if, we just don't have the manpower, or we just don't have the developers. Well, then hire developers, right? Outsource your work. I don't care, but it's inexcusable. There's so many data breaches. There's so many people getting hacked. regardless if it's, I know it doesn't correlate, but their Twitter's account, just talked to somebody where their Twitter was hacked, and that was the second I've heard of in a week. Your data is too precious. We're spending too much money on these devices not to get updated monthly. So I applaud OnePlus. That was the one, well, not the one thing. That was one of the few things that I dislike about OnePlus, and they corrected that. So OnePlus has announced its new monthly software updates. It's like the company's version of Google's Pixel feature drops, right? However, as Android Authority noted, it's more confusing and sort of impressive. So let me explain. For those unfamiliar, yes, I already went through all this. According to the announcement, actually, you know what? Let me go to the announcement. I don't want to read Android Authority. In fact, let's pull it up. Everybody can read this real quick. I'm going to get out of here, but let's read this real quick. So, coming to you from OnePlus Community's website, here's a message from their software team. Update. We are excited to announce the launch of version U120P01 and version 120P02, a new monthly software update series for OnePlus devices, which will be incorporated into the regular system upgrades. This update is set to enhance your experience by introducing OnePlus's self-developed apps along with a range of new features. With this update, you can enjoy the latest enhancements and improvements right away. Bypassing the usual gradual OTA over-the-air rollout process, currently the update is being distributed in phases to ensure a smooth and stable installation for all users. We encourage you to check your device settings for availability of this update by going to Settings, then About Device, then Oxygen OS, and install it as soon as possible to start enjoying the new features. In this upgrade, you will find detailed information about the functionalities and improvements included. We will continue to provide updates on the progress of this rollout, so stay tuned for further announcements and updates. So I updated mine yesterday. Let's check it out. So, what did we get in this version? Changelog. Calculator optimizes unit converter interface on the calculator. System improves system stability. Update schedule. So, that wasn't much of an upgrade, but look, of an update. But I'm glad they're moving to monthly updates. They should be applauded for this. So, you're going to get... They've started the rollout August 2nd. Gradually rolling out. It'll reach all devices around September 6th. Please wait patiently. I already got mine. I doubt it's going to take that long. Just check your device for updates for OnePlus. If you haven't gotten it so far, you should get it here in the next day or two. Little key secrets on updating your device. It worked for me in the past. So if you go to your update and it says no updates available, simply restart your device, literally power it off, wait a few seconds, power it back on, and then check that has worked. Or turn your Wi-Fi off, turn your Wi-Fi back on, and then check again. And that has worked for me in the past. So what that does is it essentially cuts the connection to the server and reestablishes a new connection to the update server, and then it will sometimes refresh it and then catch on that, hey, there's an update. A lot of times your device will already be connected to the server and it's just used to saying, hey, no update. So once you reestablish a new connection, it has worked in the past. And if that still doesn't work for you, just gonna have to wait a day or two, but just check it every morning or whenever you can every day, and it should be out. So it looks like it's available for most OnePlus devices, all the way OnePlus 12 series, 12R, OnePlus Open, 11, 10, 9, 8, and the Nord devices, including the new Nord 4, OnePlus Pad, OnePlus Pad Go, even all the way down to the cheap ones, the OnePlus Nord CE and all that stuff. Let's see here. So, good news. Now, on the Samsung side, there was no change. In the change log, there was not much. I think Samsung update, let's go to that. Let's see. Sam Mobile. Wow. Not much in this change log. It just says the general security patch, security updates, whatever the hell it's called. Yeah, I don't see much from here. Because when I looked earlier, when I updated the device, it just said general updates. So I know there was supposed to be a big camera improvement in this August update. That unfortunately is pushed back. We did, what was it, 2 weeks ago? Talked about how there's a huge camera update for these S24 series devices, for the Ultra, the Plus, and the stock model, the base model. It was not on this update. So wait another month, and there should be a huge camera update that should improve many things. Photo quality, processing of these photos, but it's unfortunately not on this one, and it will be hopefully on next month's update. So we will keep an eye on that as well. So that'll do it for today's podcast. I do appreciate y'all joining us. Thank you very much. Remember, if you catch us in the middle, or you want to go back and listen to a topic that we discussed that you missed out on, you can always go to the eSIM Studios YouTube channel. I'm streaming on multiple platforms, but if you want to catch the replay, go to the eSIM Studios YouTube channel. That's where we got all the content, and eSIM Studios podcast. So I got news on that. We just introduced. We're on the actually on the homepage of Samsung podcasts. They sent me an email. Samsung sent me an email yesterday saying that they picked us up for Samsung Podcasts. It's not like all the other podcast platforms where you just submit an RSS feed and then they'll host your podcast. You have to go through like a application process through Samsung, and I get it. I'm sure they checked us out and realized we were Samsung fans, so I'm sure that wasn't too hard of an approval, but we did get approved, and we I think we still are. I haven't checked recently, but as of this morning, we're still on the homepage of Samsung Podcasts. Now, you have to go to the technology section, right? They're not putting us on the homepage with Ben Shapiro or Joe Rogan. It'd be cool, but if you go to the Samsung, if you go to the news app, and then slide over to podcasts, and then hit the technology section, we're on the homepage. So wherever you get your podcasts, search eSIM Studios podcast, and we shall pop up. We're on Amazon Music, iHeartRadio Music app. We're on Apple Podcasts. We're on Pocket Casts, the application, and now on Samsung Podcasts. So if you check us out, appreciate it, and subscribe to the channel, whether it's the YouTube channel or the podcast. I would appreciate it. We got a ton of cool stuff coming. I'm working on a cool giveaway. So for this week's or this weekend's giveaway, I believe we got something cool cooked up for everybody. So please stay tuned for that, and you can win something free. So appreciate the time. Y'all have a safe, enjoyable evening, and I will see y'all tomorrow. Peace out.